The hospital ship Mercy of Soul drifted silently through the cold void of space, its white hull glinting under the distant light of a dying star. Within its vast corridors, hundreds of doctors, nurses, and medical technicians worked tirelessly, tending to the wounded from recent skirmishes on Mars and the asteroid colonies. Their mission was simple and sacred: save lives, not wage war. Commander Alara Voss, a veteran of the Interstellar Relief Corps, walked the main deck with careful, measured steps. Her gaze swept over the rows of cryobeds, each occupied by a soldier or civilian whose life hung by a thread. She had seen too much death, too many senseless sacrifices, yet she believed that the Mercy of Soul stood as a symbol of humanity's compassion, a light of hope in the darkness. Without warning, the calm silence shattered. Alarms blared through the ship as red emergency lights pulsed like frantic heartbeats. On the tactical screen, blips moved with unnatural speed, closing in from all directions. Unknown vessels approaching. High-velocity weapons detected, reported Lieutenant Kieran, his voice tight with disbelief. The crew froze, trying to comprehend the impossible. Aliens had fired on a hospital ship, a direct violation of every interstellar treaty and code of conduct. The first strike hit the port side, ripping through the outer hull with a scream of metal. Crew members were thrown from their feet as the blast shook the vessel violently. Oxygen alarms screamed in unison. Fire suppression systems activated, and the ship's AI Artemis announced calmly, "Hull breach detected. Casualties imminent." The crew scrambled, dragging injured patients to safer compartments, sealing off damaged sections. But the attackers showed no mercy, firing again and again with precision that suggested intelligence and malice. Commander Voss gritted her teeth, fury rising in her chest like molten steel. "This is not just an attack on Earth, it's an attack on humanity itself," she said, her voice cold and steady. Rallying her medical staff, she directed triage teams to stabilize the critically wounded, while engineers worked frantically to keep life support systems online. The hospital ship, meant to be a sanctuary, had become a battlefield. Outside, the attackers moved with terrifying coordination, their ships unlike anything humanity had encountered. Sleek, black vessels that shimmered with an alien light, seemingly able to phase through shields. Their weapons were silent until impact, invisible beams that cut through the hull without warning. Every strike was calculated, and yet they avoided the areas holding the least patience. As if they understood the sanctity of life yet chose to defy it anyway. Amid the chaos, Dr. Raina Caldwell, the chief surgeon, took charge of the medical bay, directing her team with surgical precision. "Stabilize the burn victims first, then move to the fractures. We don't stop, no matter what happens outside," she commanded. Her calmness was contagious, and despite the fear gnawing at every corner of the ship, the staff worked as a unified force, a small but resolute shield against death. Commander Voss moved to the bridge, staring at the main screen, watching as Earth's distant blue sphere spun silently in the void. A deep sense of helplessness gripped her. Earth was light years away, unable to intervene immediately. Yet she knew that once the attack was reported, humanity would respond with everything it had. The attackers may have underestimated the resolve of a species that would never forgive such an atrocity. The alien vessels closed in, firing with relentless precision. The Mercy of Soul shuddered under each impact, metal groaning as life support faltered in damaged sections. Fires erupted in medical compartments, and smoke filled the hallways, choking those who could not reach safety in time. The ship's AI worked tirelessly, rerouting power, sealing breaches, but even its sophisticated algorithms struggled against the onslaught. Then, in the midst of the chaos, a single thought crystallized in Commander Voss's mind, burning brighter than fear or despair. "They've made a grave mistake, and we will make them regret it." She keyed a secure communication channel to Earth Command, her fingers shaking, but her voice resolute. "This is Mercy of Soul. We are under unprovoked attack by unknown alien forces. Hospital ship compromised. Casualties mounting. Request immediate retaliation authorization. Humanity will answer, and they will not survive what comes next." As the alien ships advanced, the hospital crew braced themselves, knowing the worst was yet to come. Yet even in fear, even in pain, the mission endured. For humanity's mercy was not weakness, and the attack that had begun as a massacre would ignite a war unlike any the galaxy had seen. The Mercy of Soul drifted through the void, battered and wounded, its corridors a chaotic tangle of smoke, twisted metal, and frantic medical staff. Survivors huddled in the safest compartments, eyes wide with shock, ears ringing from the relentless bombardment. The attack had come without warning, without reason, and the weight of its horror pressed down on every soul aboard. In the main medical bay, Dr. Raina Caldwell moved like a spectre among the wounded. Her hands slick with blood, her face pale but determined. Each life she touched was a battle, each stabilization, a tiny victory against the tide of suffering. Yet every patient she lost reminded her of the cruelty outside the reinforced walls. And she could not stop thinking about the families waiting on Earth, unaware of the nightmare unfolding. Light years away, Commander Voss surveyed the damage from the bridge. Her jaw clenched so tightly it ached. The hull integrity was critical. Emergency repairs holding by a fragile thread. Artemis's voice echoed calmly through the chaos. Multiple breaches detected. Structural collapse possible in 2 sectors. The thought of losing more of her crew filled her with an icy rage, and she knew the aliens were testing humanity's limits, probing the mercy of Sol as if to measure how much suffering a human could endure. Outside, the alien ships held their positions, circling like predators, their black holes gleaming with an eerie, alien energy. They had no interest in communication, no hesitation in targeting the vulnerable. And the silence between blasts was almost worse than the attack itself. A quiet reminder of the unstoppable force looming just beyond the shields. The crew worked tirelessly, but the casualties mounted. Each death a blow to morale, each scream a testament to the tragedy unfolding. Yet even as despair threatened to swallow them, there was a quiet defiance in the air, a determination that humanity's light would not be snuffed out. Not here. Not in the face of this incomprehensible aggression. A sudden impact rocked the bridge, throwing Commander Voss against the console. Her vision blurred, but her mind sharpened with resolve. All ships in range. Mark them, she commanded, speaking into her private link with Earth Command. They've violated every code of conduct. Targeted a hospital ship. Retaliation is not optional. It is inevitable, miles away, on Earth. The words reached ears that had only moments ago believed humanity's fleets were still at peace. The attack on the Mercy of Sol sent shockwaves across military command, triggering alarms, mobilizing fleets, and igniting a hunger for justice that had been dormant. Humanity's response would be swift, precise, and devastating. The galaxy would witness that mercy could be powerful, but wrath could be absolute. As fires burned and corridors collapsed, as wounded cried out for help that could not reach them. In time, the crew of the Mercy of Sol held firm. Their courage became a symbol, their suffering a call to arms for humanity. The attack was not just a loss, it was a declaration of war, and Earth's retaliation would reshape the battlefield forever.